Hashkey, where 4 months ago, Kerry lifted Sam Maguire when they were crowned the All-Ireland Football Champions. We are live in the Davin Suite here in Croke Park for the 2026 Football Provincial Draws. We have brought some officials with us. We have brought some pundits with us. We also have some players. And for the first time ever, we have a live audience. We're going to be chatting with some of this audience later on this evening. But before that, we've talked about the pundits. Let's start bringing them out. We have to start with Munster, home of the All-Ireland champions, and we'll head to Unraked in Kerry. Martian, Corrigy Fáilte War Riv, Mark O'Shea. Goodbye, Hashkey. Jimmer Tatu. Jasu Ekal. Mark, Jimmer Ta Ruddy Igiri Filaher.
A roser fad, Kapach to Sach the Biena Gamach Crave, Nashunta the Heron Boitigun, Crave the Moon Boitigun, Agus Crave, the Heron Boitigun, Gahar in the Nach Rev Ruddy Dolgama, Agus Berks Ledia Tashe Diantagun, Agus Big Nollig Dasagun in Ish, Young Kupla Shachtane.
Has the celebration stopped yet?
I think the team have been on their holidays, so I'd imagine from their point of view, it's kind of back to training and back to brass tacks. We know the way the season is now, that it's all over in July. So I'd imagine from a player's point of view, Jack O'Connor will definitely have them focused on the 2026 championship, and they've had a good run of it. I believe they're getting their medals next weekend, and I suppose it's probably closure after that then, and looking forward to 2026, because we all know that whoever is always All-Ireland champions, there's always somebody there to bring you down. So hopefully Kerry will realise that and keep going the way they finished off the year.
So talk to me about the managerial setup there, because Jack is coming back for another season. Your brother Tomas is with the under-20s. You're now in with the minors as well. So how is that? Tell us about that.
Well, from my own point of view, I'm absolutely honoured and delighted to be the minor manager, and it's a huge privilege, but obviously it comes with hard work. But I suppose you're lucky that we're dealing with the best players, and you're hopefully trying to coach those players, make them better. And you'd never know, come the business end of the year, hopefully be thereabouts. But it just so happens that Tomas is with the 20s, and he's been there for the last few years, and Jack is going nowhere, so he's doing a great job in the seniors, and hopefully that'll keep going.
So a clean sweep next year, is that what you're saying, Mark?
You said that, I didn't say that. Yeah, but look, I think when you bring teams through, and this is true throughout the country, minor teams are there to kind of bring them through to the 20s. 20s teams are there to bring them through to the seniors. It's all about development and getting the best senior team that you can get. And once that conveyor belt of talent is coming through, hopefully it'll augur well for the team.
The Munster Championship, obviously we're going to be doing that draw shortly. You've won many a Munster title. What does it mean? What did it mean to you as a player?
Massive. Munster was where it was at because Kerry and Cork were always huge rivals. But when I grew up and when I was playing, it was actually other teams like Limerick. I remember we played a game above in Gaelic grounds, and only for a high ball that my brother Dara caught over the crossbar, Limerick would have beaten us. And it was so competitive back then, be it the Limerick or the Clares or whatever team, even when Dara started off the Tipperaries. And I think hopefully it's coming back to that again. We saw Limerick going really far in the championship or in the Tailteann Cup. They nearly put Cork to the sword, and we saw Kerry Cork going really close, toe-to-toe. So hopefully this year we'll have a very competitive Munster Championship.
Mark, we're looking forward to the draw. Gurmila Maiga the Shin, Svigilat the Hiacon, Ohogal and Shin. But let's move on then to the province of Connacht and welcome three-time Connacht winner with Galway. It's Michael Meehan.
Thank you, Grania.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you, dear?
Great.
Good to see you.
You too.
So Galway, 4 Connacht titles in a row. The Nestor Cup has been staying in Galway for a while. We saw what it meant to Pádraig Joyce afterwards and the Connacht fans. You've won it 3 times. So what did it mean to you to win that medal? And talk to me a little bit about the impact it has on a county as well, Michael.
Yeah, so I go back a little while since I was winning those, but at that stage it was nearly every second year. Galway and Mayo had a great rivalry, and it was tit for tat. And very hard to put them back to back. Now Galway have gone 4 in a row, looking to go 5 in a row. Mayo did the 5 in a row, heading back to maybe 10, 15 years ago, and towards the end of my career, Andy Moran was involved in that. He's now the Mayo manager. Colin Boyle is involved as well. So it really is, it's a marker though. It is a marker within your province at that stage in the campaign, just to you know, it used to be a thing. You had the FPD league was there at the start of the year, and that's coming back as well. But you kind of, your little milestones to take along the way, league and your provincial championship. If you could have that, it augured well for what was to come.
What for you do you feel, or maybe who are the main challenges to Galway getting that 5 in a row in 2026?
Well, there was fine margins the year gone by in Castlebar, so you know that's just straight away there under new management. You can be sure the focus will be on Connacht, and depending what happens here in a few minutes' time as to what stage are the so-called big guns going to be pitted against one another. But there's a lot of new managers in Galway or in Connacht this year, Sligo and in Roscommon. So every time a new manager comes in and brings in a new setup, that always brings a new energy and a new focus. And I think it's over the last few years, Connacht has been very, very competitive, and I think we'll see that again next year.
Yeah, Míle buíochas, Michael Ashton. We'll hear more from Michael shortly. But let's welcome then our next province, and the new rules came into this year to great effect. We're going to speak now to a man who played those rules, recently retired. He's an All-Ireland winner with Armagh. Torgi Bulabas Morda, Stephen Campbell. Well, how are you? Good to see you. Good to meet you. Stefan, you've just recently retired, as I said. So how has that decision sitting with you now?
Yeah, it was a tough decision, obviously, first and foremost. It was a decision that I thought long and hard about. But now that the dust has settled, it's been a few weeks. It's definitely a decision that I've been at ease with. So the Ulster Championship, for people in the room here that don't know what the Ulster Champion is like to play in, what is it like to play and why is it so important to players? I think it's probably the competition. I think the competition in itself, it's unrivaled. You know, if you look down the country, obviously Kerry have Munster showing up previously in previous years, same in Connacht. I know Leinster starting to open up a bit, but I still feel there's a bit of catch up there in terms of getting that level of quality throughout the province. Yeah, and I think that's level of competition, because realistically, there's probably 5 or 6 teams there that see themselves winning the Ulster Championship this year. Yeah, well, it is always competitive, Steph, and we're going to be hearing more from you shortly. Míle maigid as sin. And last but not least, our final province is the province of Leinster. We welcome 2022 Tailteann Cup winner and Westmeath stalwart John Heslin. How are you?
Bad, thanks. How are you?
So, I mean, when we were here maybe this time last year and everyone was going, Leinster Championship is very predictable. We all know who's going to come out of it. We all know who's going to win. It was amazing to watch in 2025. What are your reflections from that?
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a very special Leinster Championship. Probably the best Leinster Championship we've had in at least 10 years, if not more. You know, 65,000 people here, and like a lot of people in the room will join me in saying the more big days we can have here in Croke Park, and the more we want them. You know, they're very special. I was telling the guys inside that Dublin won the championship here with the Leinster Championship every year I played. They didn't win it the year before I played, and they didn't win the year after. So the lads said maybe I should have retired sooner, because we might have had a more exciting Leinster Championship. But no, it was great for Louth. And to see Meath in the final as well, even though Westmeath obviously, but just two new teams keeping it fresh, and really looking forward to next year.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal achievement by Louth, like a first Leinster title in 68 years. But for every other team now in Leinster, what way will that win help them, or maybe change the way they approach the Leinster Championship in 2026?
Yeah, I suppose somebody was always going to end that kind of great streak that the Dubs had. We always hoped it was going to be Westmeath, but it wasn't. So someone has beaten that Dublin team, or a Dublin team, and so that mental block is now gone. So certainly I know there's teams training hard already to say that, like, why can't we be the next Louth? Now, Louth have done very well. There are a lot of good underage teams coming through, under 20s and the minors as well, under 17. So they'll be thereabouts again. But it just gives everyone that renewed confidence that, you know, maybe we can be winning that Leinster Championship.
Yeah, well, thanks a million, John. We'll be chatting more with you shortly. And as I said, we'll be talking to our panel throughout the evening. But it's time to start our first draw, which is for the Connacht Football Championship. Before we do that, let's get a scene set with Mike Finnerty.
Here we go again as Connacht gets ready for 2026. They say the West is best, but will that be the case this year? The championship kicks off with the Rossies looking to take a bite of the Big Apple when they travel to New York for a Bronx battle. London is calling for Mayo as Andy Moran prepares for his first championship game as the Westerners' boss, with his side restocked and reloaded for a charge towards the Nestor Cup. For the 3 remaining counties, it's an open draw to see who will fill the final 2 quarter-final spots and who will jump straight to the semis. Sligo step forward under the fresh guidance of Desi Sloyan and Eamon O'Hara, chasing their first provincial prize since 2007. Leitrim will be hoping to poach their first win since '94. But looking down from the top spot are Galway, the current 4-in-a-row kings, chasing 5, and Pádraig Joyce's Warriors are favourites once again. Outside of the tribesmen, a curveball will be welcomed by Manny and Connacht, and 2026 might just deliver.
Yeah, are we going to get an exciting Connacht Championship in 2026? We are going to find out. We're delighted to be joined by Mayo player Jack Kearney to the stage. Jack, well done on a great year with Mayo. Andy Moran's in, so there's a lot of excitement around the county. For our players, what way is that excitement showing up for him and his management team?
Yeah, well look, the minute they were appointed, there's huge excitement among the players and obviously the county. And he brings a lot of experience and a great football IQ, as does the remainder of his backroom team. So I think obviously now the training has started, that excitement has been brought onto the pitch, and hopefully we can bring that to the season ahead.
So what way are you and the other players trying to impress Andy at the moment?
It's a clean slate for everyone, so I'd imagine everyone's doing everything they can, and that starts now, I think. Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
I'm just back from the club, so I'll start training and as I said, I'll do whatever I can, yeah.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck for 2026. Also joining us for the draw, as well as the Connacht GAA, Kai Hirlock at Vincent Neary. Vincent, Connacht is unique in that we have teams travelling for different matches. What are you most excited about for 2026?
Well, 2026 brings 3 new management setups to 3 different counties in the province. And as you said, Roscommon are going to New York and Mayo are going to London. That always brings a challenge. And the pre-season is back, so these teams will be well familiar with through the FBD and Division 1. There are 3 Connacht teams in Division 1 and 2 other teams in a lower division. So we're really looking forward to an exciting Connacht Championship for 2026. And as I say, with the 3 new managements, that should bring an extra buzz to the whole affair.
Absolutely. So let's find out then what teams are playing each other in 2026. And John Prenty, the Provincial Secretary from Connacht Council, is here to keep an eye on us that we're all doing it correctly. So let's just explain, first of all, what it is. We have 2 predetermined quarterfinals, as Vincent said there, to be played based on a rota. Roscommon travel to New York, while London, they welcome Mayo to Ruislip. That leaves Galway, Leitrim and Sligo in Bowl 1. 2 of these teams will be paired against each other in the 3rd quarter-final, while the remaining team will progress directly to a provincial semi-final. The first team drawn from Bowl 1 by Vincent plays the second team drawn from the Bowl by Jack, and that will be in quarter-final C. So Vincent, if I can ask you to give the teams there a spin in that bowl, please, and take out your first team.
So the first team out is Sligo.
So Schligach and Cade Urlan Ama, and of course they have new management this year. So who will they play, Jack?
And they will play Leitrim.
So Sligo and Leitrim, that's our 3rd quarter final there. Our quarterfinals then are known. So, Vincent, if you could move then the final remaining county in from Bowl 1 to Bowl 2, and this also includes the winners then of our 3-quarter final. And a reminder as well that this is an open draw for the semi-final. So, Vincent, if you could give the teams and the counties there in the bowls a spin around, and if you draw out the first team there for us.
So the first team out is quarter-final B, London. The winners of London v Mayo.
Okay, and who are they going to play, Jack? If I can ask you to spin that ball and take that out then, please, for us.
Winners of quarter-final A, which is New York and Roscommon.
So, semi-final London or Mayo, the winners of that will play New York or Roscommon. So if I can ask you again, Vincent, to take out, please, another county from the bowl. And this county is?
Quarter-final C.
So we will have the quarter-final C then, and that is Sligo and Leitrim. And Jack, if you will do the honours and we'll find out who they will be playing in the semi-final.
Galway.
Gaila van Shin. So Galway will play Sligo or Leitrim. And the fixtures and the matches and the teams and the venues, the teams, but the venues, I should say, and where they will be played and what times, that will all be sorted out by the Connacht CCC in the following week. So Mila Buekas to the gentlemen for that draw. Recap for us then, New York and Roscommon, as we've seen there. And just let's get some views then from the pundits from that. So Michael, starting with you then, and that draw, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I suppose 3 Division 1 teams. Galway are on one side of the draw, Roscommon and Mayo potentially on the other side. Tough draws for maybe the away nations, London, New York, and everything is bunching on that side. But I suppose from a Galway perspective, you're happy to stay on the side that they're on, avoiding the Division 1 teams.
Yeah, we can see them there on our screen now. Mark, Andy Moore, and as Jack has said, he's come in now as management for that. They start in London, as we said, but what do you expect to see from them this year?
I expect to see the same way that Andy Moore played himself, just the ultra competitor that he was. I had the misfortune of marking him a good few years, and look, it's no coincidence anywhere he's gone since he's retired. He's brought an enthusiasm and he's lifted the county, be it Leitrim or wherever he's been. He has really lifted the camps, and I can see Andy Moore doing the exact same thing to his home county. It is obvious, from even watching him play football, coaching was always something that, management was something that he was going to get into. So look, I know we've seen Galway being the dominant team in Connacht in the last few years, but I think Andy Moore has a great backroom team behind him. I think I actually think that you need a competitive game if you're going to take on a Galway. And I'm not saying Galway are going to get to the Connacht final. Chances are they are, but you need a competitive game before you get to that Connacht final. And I think that's a game that Andy Moore can count on.
Stefan, your Armagh team would have played against Galway over the years. They are going for 5 in a row in the province. Who do you feel is best equipped, or do you think any team in Connacht now can stop them this year?
Yeah, we always found them quite formidable to play against. Even going back to the old rules, I think they kept us to 15 points or less in 3 games. Just structurally sound, really hard to break down. Physically, they're a match-up for anyone in the country. And then obviously they're so elusive up top that they can literally beat anyone on their day. I would say have them probably still as favourites, but as previously touched on, with the new management in Mayo, I'm really intrigued to see how much of a kick they can get out of that squad.
Yeah. So Mayo and Galway, everyone has talks about them, John. Dark horses for you, anyone that maybe stands out that can cause an upset in Connacht?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, for New York to be welcoming Roscommon over, I don't think New York will be too afraid of that, actually. I think that the last couple of years, teams gone over there have gotten a right good challenge. And I think New York will give Roscommon plenty of it, actually, in the first round. Roscommon have a great side, though. I do expect them you would expect them to come through that, but it won't be terribly easy. And then I think Roscommon are probably happy to be that side of the draw and avoiding Galway. I mean, you don't want to have to come up against a team that's after winning 4 in a row. So yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting side of the draw.
Okay, thanks lads for that. That concludes then the Connacht Football Championship draw. We're going to move on now to the Leinster Championship Football and Draw, and what a memorable year it was for Louth. So will 2026 be as good? Yeah, Leinster, as I said, what a memorable win it was for Louth, the first Leinster title in 68 years, and we're delighted to have the Louth winning captain Sam Mulroy on stage with us. Lovely memories looking back on that, but what a brilliant year was for Louth. Brilliant year for you as well, getting your All-Star there recently too. Has it all sunk in, everything that you have achieved?
Oh yeah, look, it was a very special year and such a long wait, I suppose, for the Laney Cup. So yeah, it's been a nice year, but I suppose we're back again and it's all kicking off again. So yeah, park it now, come January and get back to work.
You always believed that you and Louth could win a Leinster title. Was there a particular moment this year, maybe training, maybe in a match, where you fully believed, yes, this is going to happen, we are going to win a Leinster title?
No, I don't think there was a particular moment. I think it's just one of those things where we gathered momentum. We didn't play overly well in our first 2 games. We were getting a few boys back from injury and stuff, but I think the semi-final win against Kildare really brought us on. It was a big test then in Tullamore. So yeah, and then we went in with a plan in the Leinster final and we executed. And
when you see the fans, you see that rejoice, that, I mean, so many people so overjoyed, both at home and abroad, watching that. Did you realise, or how did it feel to you to see the impact that you and your team made on all those people? Yeah,
it was massive. It was seriously special, and that's what it's about. I suppose it's about inspiring the next generation, and yeah, I think we've done that this year and over the last number of years. So, but to see, I suppose, grown men crying here was great, and yeah, no, it was a really special time. Yeah, no pressure for 2026 then at all. Okay. We're also delighted to be joined by the Cathaoirleach from Leinster GAA, Derek Kent. Derek, what a phenomenal 2025 we've had. What did you make of it all?
Well, as John alluded to earlier on, 66,000 in Croke Park for a final. Great spectacle, a great game of football, and great for both sets of supporters. Another year was we moved to provincial grounds. We went out to our local towns. Another big plus for me this year was we give the fans something this year, €15 ticket for admission charge for the first round championship. So it was a great year for Leinster all round.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to another great year in 2026. And just to conduct the draw and keep an eye on us that we're doing it right is CEO Michael Reynolds. So Fáilte Roimh a lig. So let's go through what the draw is about. So we have 11 counties. They're going to learn their fate now this evening with the help of 3 bowls. So in bowl 1, we have 7 teams: Carlow, Laois, Longford, Offaly, Wexford, Westmeath and Wicklow. 6 of these will play in the first round, with 1 county getting a bye into the quarter-final. In bowl 2 then, we have 4 semi-finalists from 2025. That is Dublin, Kildare, Louth and Meath. And these teams will go straight through to the quarter-final this time around. But let's start then with the first round games. And Derek, if you'd like to give the bowl there a final spin and draw out our first team.
Carlow.
So Carlow is our first team out, and Joe Murphy is in charge for what will be his first full season with the county. Sam, if I can ask you then to draw out the team that will be playing Carlow.
it is Wicklow.
So Kilvantown, Wicklow and Oisin McConville back there for a 4th season in charge. We move on then to our next pairings, and out from the bowl is
Westmeath.
So on Irvie, Westmeath, Marshin, and Mark McHugh, a new managerial position there. And Sam, who will he and his team be against in the first round of the Leinster Championship?
Longford.
On Longford, Marshin. So Torishid I Ershin and Mike Solan's second year in charge. Our next pairings out then for the first round are
Offaly.
Uv Allya Marshin. So Offaly are out there. Mickey Hart and Declan Kennedy continuing as joint managers. And Sam, they will play.
play Laois.
They will play Laois Mar Sin. So we have one team left. So if you can ask then for Derek, if you can place that into Bowl 3, which will also contain the 3 first-round fixture winners, and we'll give them a quick stir and take them out. So what happens next then is these will be for the finalists who are in Bowl 2. So this is Dublin, Kildare, Louth and Meath. So we have Kildare here, and they'll be against those drawn in Bowl 3 to determine the 4 quarter-final parents. So we should also note that the winners of quarter-final A, Sam, I'll just explain this, will play the winners of quarter-final B in the first semi-final, and the winners of quarter-final C will play the winners of quarter-final D in the semi-final. So if you will just, Sam, take that out and let us know who will be playing Kildare in the quarter-final.
Round 1C.
So round 1C winners, well, that is Offaly or Laois. They will be playing Kildare in our first quarter-final. So spin the ball again to go out a team there, and we have
Meath.
on the Martin, of course, who went to the Leinster final this year. So Sam, who will Meath be playing?
They will be playing round 1B.
So round 1B winners, Meath, they will be playing them in that second quarter-final, and that is the winners of the Westmeath and Longford game. Derek, next team out.
Louth.
So we have on Louth, of course, Leinster champions, and we've Sam beside us. So Sam.
No pressure, yeah.
No pressure. Your whole county's watching this.
We are playing Wexford.
Playing Lochgarman then in that quarter-final. And our last 2 teams then pulled out, to be pulled out, are
Dublin.
Aha Clia Martin. So K Aves and I Aha Clia Sam. So the last team out.
Last team out is round 1A.
Round 1A winners. So this completes then the quarterfinals, and that are the winners of Carlow and Wicklow. So lads, gur míle maithigí Ashin. Fixtures will, of course, be determined by the Leinster CCC. And just to recap then on the draw, we have Carlow and Wicklow, Westmeath and Longford, Offaly and Laois in round 1. The quarterfinals then will Kildare will play the winners of Offaly and Laois. Meath will play the winners of Westmeath and Longford. Louth and Wexford play, agus we have Balliaha Clia and I, Caherlock, no Kill Van Town. Interesting. John, thoughts first of all. What stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, naturally I'd be looking at my own county and who we're up against. So Longford in the first game, I mean, outside of Dublin the last number of years, there's, like, look, it's fairly even par there, like, and there'll be nothing easy playing Longford. I don't know whether it'll be home or away, but we never got anything easy when we went down there, and we certainly never gave them anything handy when they came to Mullingar. But if Westmeath were to get over that, they get Meath in the next round. So an opportunity to test themselves against a good side who push Louth all the way. But ultimately, as a Leinster county there, you're looking to avoid the strongest teams, and Westmeath have avoided the Leinster champions, and then obviously the Dubs for the last number of years. So from a Westmeath perspective, it's good. And then Louth will be tested against Dublin that side of the draw. So yeah, I think Kildare, Meath and Westmeath and Longford, everyone on that side will be pretty happy.
For Louth, Michael, I mean, they are the team that everyone wants to beat now. Once you've won a Leinster title, you are fair game in year 2. Can they do back-to-back?
Yeah, I'm sure they can. It's going to be incredibly difficult. Like they were the story of the year in many ways in what they did. But there's a target on their back now, and I'm sure Sam is happy with that. But that just brings a whole new set of problems. Good problems to have. But you know, Ger Brennan is going to. He's back at home now. He's going to look to get a tune out of Dublin, Meath, Westmeath. I think it might be the year for Westmeath to come now that John has stepped away. I know he thinks that's the reason that they didn't win for the 14 years he was there. I've heard him mention it a few times now at this stage.
I was actually ringing Mark McHugh and he won't answer the phone.
But we were so long looking at Leinster and just this story about Dublin, and we had the breakthrough this year. So how many counties now outside of Louth are thinking, if Louth can do it, you know, that there's a chance that we can jump up through the gears? And I'm thinking Kildare on the back of Tailteann Cup. I'm thinking, you know, Westmeath maybe under new management. You know, Meath and what they can bring, having got a good run, after the Leinster Championship. So it's looking like it's going to be an exciting championship again.
Yeah, and talking off me, Stefan, I mean, we all know Aaron Kernan, your fellow county man, a friend of ours here on GAA Plus. In terms of Meath, I mean, they were narrowly beaten in that Leinster final. So what way do you expect them to build on that success going into 2026?
Yeah, I think Aaron going in there, he stepped back and probably looked at last season and realised that the profile of player there and the strength in their squad, it's not going to be a flash in the pan. I think the reaction after the Leinster defeat proved that they were able to, get back on the horse, so to speak, and then go out in the quarter final and put on the performance that they did. So I think it's a shrewd appointment, and yeah, there's probably no better man placed there to go drive them standards within.
Yeah, and then the Dubs, of course, as well, Mark. I mean, Ger Brennan comes in there now in his first year, taking over from Desi Farrell. Yeah. Where do you feel the Dubs are at heading into 2026?
Well, if you look at the other three teams in the quarterfinals, Louth, Kildare and Meath, all those teams have made gains this year. And I think that's the big thing that Ger Brennan is going to I suppose use it as a yardstick, that it's very much a level playing field again in Leinster. And you've seen with the retirements that Dublin have been dealt with down through the last 2 years in particular. This great team was never going to stay together forever. But in recent years now, you've Brian Fenton, you've John Small, mainstays of the Dublin, you could say, down the spine of the Dublin team. And that's going to be the big challenge for Ger. And I'd imagine he's going to be trying to unearth new players in the National League to get them to championship level. Because you look at Louth, what they've achieved, there's no doubt that these other counties, the teams particularly Meath and Kildare, are going to be looking at that and looking to see we can do the same.
Absolutely. I'm going to talk to some Louth supporters down here now, because we're hearing all about Louth. So let's hear somebody from Louth. And I'm making my way over to this table. These are the rowdy table, in case anyone was wondering. So who have we here? And tell us your club.
Brody, and I'm from Nave Martin.
Nave Martin, yes. So were you kind of karma there for Sam, pick out a good team, or what were you thinking?
Yeah, hopefully anyway.
He did really, really well. So what did you make of the draw?
I thought it was good. Hopefully we get through well. So, yeah. Yeah.
And what have the celebrations been like? I mean, Sam was talking about people crying. What was it like for you, hearing of all these stories, I say, of 2010 and other years growing up? What was it like for you when they got over that line in that final whistle in the Leinster final?
It was good to be able to experience it, and it was good in the ground, like all the excitement and everyone.
Yeah. Well done. I'm going to move over here to this gentleman beside you as well. So tell us your name, and again, thoughts on the draw here this evening.
Stephen, I'm from Nave Martin as well. So I suppose Sam's a neighbour of ours, so it was great to see him lifting it. And I think the draw this evening, obviously ourselves in Dublin, one side of it, and all the other teams, I think Leinster's coming right up, so nothing's going to be easy. So are we going to hear it first? Are Louth going to do back-to-back in 2026? Yeah, probably fill Croke Park, maybe more this time, but Louth Meath final maybe.
I'm telling you, you've heard it here first, huh?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. What did you enjoy most about seeing the Leinster final and seeing Louth winning?
I think it's when you see what all the players put in behind the scenes, and then maybe not all the supporters see that, but when you see the sacrifice these guys make, and then to see them being able to lift that and see the celebrations in front of the hill. When it wasn't Dublin on the hill, it was a lot of Louth supporters, so that was really, really good as well.
Well, we'll wish you the very best luck in 2026. Final words here from this gentleman. Just tell us your name.
Bob.
Bob. So, what did you make of that draw this evening?
Yeah, look, I suppose when you're straight into a quarter final, it gives you that opportunity to return to a semi final, and I suppose to get to the semi final draw and meet Ger again. So he took us over the line after 68 years, and now we're going to on opposite sides to him. So yeah, look, it's a draw that I suppose you'd have to be happy with, and we'll take it from there. And a new manager, how do you feel about that? Well, Gavin Devlin and Peter Dooley in the team are there, but Gavin knows Louth, and Gavin has been around. He was away for 1 year, but he had 3 years done, away for a year. He's been back a year, and he knows Louth football. He knows the players in Louth. He knows everyone. So it's not going to be a big job to transition into manager, because he knows everyone from the whole way through. Well, we hope you enjoy all the preparation for 2026, and you've heard it here first on Lou Abu, huh? Absolutely.
Okay, that concludes then our 2026 draw for the Leinster Championship. We're going to move on now to the Munster Football Championship. But before that, have a look at this. Yeah, what can we say about 2025 in the Munster Championship? Of course, it belonged to Kerry, and we're going to do the draw now for the Munster Championship. We're delighted to welcome onto the stage Far Asenricht, Avui Butcher, Avui Gumaleshkil, Bacordam Mara, Bun Lakuiga, Moon, August Naharan, Mike Breen. Mike, great to have you here with us. What has this year been like for you? I'll start with asking first of all about the Munster semi-final, because there was a bit of a shock there for Kerry against Cork. It went to extra time. Looking back on that, do you feel that was kind of the start for Kerry's brilliant run in Munster and in the All-Ireland series?
Yeah, I suppose Cork have been putting it up to us for the last number of years in Munster, so it's always good to get a challenge down there in Munster, and it sets you up for the All-Ireland series then. So we'll be looking to retain our title in 2026. And I'm sure Cork or Clare or any of the teams in Munster will be really looking to take it off us.
So Jack is back as well. And how much talk is in the kingdom at the moment about getting another Munster title and doing back-to-back All-Irelands?
Yeah, we're obviously we had great celebrations there, and they'll help to shorten the winter in Kerry. But no, we're looking forward to 2026 now, and sure, Jack has brought in Kieran Donaghy as well, and we have a great backroom team, so we'll be back training. We've our All-Ireland medal presentation tomorrow night, so we're looking forward to getting back after that then.
And that's the end of the celebrations then after tomorrow evening, is it?
Yeah, more or less. We've had a good run of it now, so...
Well, listen, congratulations again and the very best of luck for 2026. Also doing the draw for us as well is the Cathaoirleach of Munster GAA, Tim Murphy. So, Tim, it was a brilliant year, 2025, for Kerry and for Munster. What can we expect to see, or what are you looking forward to in 2026?
Well, I think, like Mike said, it was a fantastic year for Kerry, winning the Munster title and going on to win the All-Ireland. For me, and I think for all of us in Munster, what we're hoping is that we'll have a competitive Munster Championship. Like Mike said, the Cork-Kerry semi-final in Páirc Uí Chaoimh that Saturday night was a really tough, physical game of football, I think, and anyone that was at it went away kind of refreshed about the way football was developing in the province. I think Limerick's progression in the Tailteann Cup has been fantastic. They were very unlucky not to get a winning goal against Kildare in the final. So I think competition and improvement in standards is what we're hoping for.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we're going to do the draw now, and we're joined by Kieran Leddy, who is the CEO of Munster GAA as well, who's going to make sure we're doing this all correctly. So this is how the draw is going to work. In Bowl 1, we have 4 teams, which are Cork, Limerick, Tipperary and Waterford. These counties will be paired against each other in the Munster quarter-finals. The winners of those quarter-finals will be placed in Bowl 2, along with Clare and Kerry, the 2025 Munster finalists, and the semi-finals will then be an open draw. So the first team drawn by Tim plays the second team drawn by Mike in quarter-final A, the third team drawn by Tim, and the fourth team drawn by Mike will play in quarter-final B. So Tim, if I can ask you to spin the different counties inside the bowl and pick one of them out for us. So first out then is...
So first out is Tipperary, Tibred Arden.
Tibred Arden as in Cade, Can and we on Shin. Agus Bei Shadson and I, Mike.
Waterford.
Tugging Sheed I Fort Largan Machine, and of course Aoife Fitzgerald has come back in as manager with Waterford then. Next up then, Tim.
So next up is Limerick, Limnock.
So Limnock, Achactama, Asan Fota and Shin, Agus Bei Shadson and I, Mike.
Cork.
So Limnock in I Corca an sin agus sin an darna bait the Cathrú Canish atá agin. So we'll move on then to the semi-final draw, which involves Bowl 2, and we have the winners of quarter-final A and B, and Clare and Kerry will be joining the draw at this stage. And just to remind you as well that this is an open draw. So Tim, if you could give the teams in the bowl, please, another final spin and draw the next team.
So the next team is quarter-final A.
So quarter-final A then, and Mike, who will quarter-final A be playing? That is, of course, Tipperary and Waterford. They will be playing...
Quarter-final B.
Quarter-final B. So Limnock agus Corca. Béisiad in an Céile. So next up then, Tim.
Clare and Clár.
So on Clár mar sin in san Bartha le Canish Ella, agus Béisiad in an Mike.
Kerry.
I think we know the answer to that. Kerry mar sin. So by Clare agus Kerry, which was of course the Munster final this year, Béisiad in an Céile in san Bartha le Canish. So just to recap then on those fixtures in the Munster senior draw. So quarterfinals we have Tipperary and Waterford, Limerick and Cork. The semi-finals then will see either Tipperary or Waterford play the winners of Limerick or Cork, and Clare and Kerry meet in the semi-finals. So Mila Buekas, lads Ashin, and as per the other provinces, all times, fixtures and venues will be announced by Munster CCC in the following weeks. So let's get reaction then from the lads. Mark, Kerry, Clare, will they be happy? Will they be disappointed? How will they feel after that?
Well, I think Tim alluded to it there. I think the big thing that we want at the Munster Championship is competitiveness, Grana. And I think that Kerry, Clare, again, I don't know where the game is on, but any time Kerry had to go up to Clare, they've always found it difficult going up there. And if you look at the other side of the draw, then you look at, say, Limerick and Cork. Cork know exactly the challenge that Limerick possess, and I suppose the confidence that Limerick will take from last year, having progressed so well in the Tailteann, I think that's really going to bode well. And we've seen that down through the years with the Westmeaths and the Meads in particular, regardless if you win it or get to the final. So I think this year, I think we will have a more competitive Munster Championship, and that Cork-Limerick game, I think, is going to be one of the highlights.
Yeah. Michael, you were at Super Value Park Equive when we witnessed that semi-final between Cork and Kerry, and huge shock for Kerry. But the new rules, I mean, teams have had a chance to embed in them, get used to them, think about how they're going to evolve them for next year. Do you feel that teams in general, but maybe teams in Munsters, that because they will know the new rules better, they'll be fit to cut the gap against Kerry in 2026, because they will be the favourites to come out of that province once more?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Cork were early on, they were one of the early adopters to maybe looking to set up for a 2-point score, and they scored a lot in the corresponding fixture last year, Limerick and Cork. It was a lot of those 2-pointers that got them over the line against Limerick on that day. There's a rematch again this year, and just to build on Limerick's promotion in the league first and foremost, and then getting all the way to the Tailteann Cup final. I think that'll be a draw that'll entice them as well. But certainly for Cork and for other teams and the 2-pointers, and by and large, me as someone, a fan looking on, I was delighted with the impact that they made on the game. Just to open it up, and there is an argument that they will help close the gap. They certainly can cause a game to swing, and momentum can go with a team, and you can get maybe 2-3 2-pointers in a row, and all of a sudden you can close the gap quite quickly, or maybe you can extend the gap. So they've been a very good move. Who knows where it will go to when teams really hone in on it and look to maximise it. What can we expect to see there? But I would, again, Cork under the same management, and our goalie man down there, Kevin Walsh, and a tradition in basketball, and there's certain similarities when you bring in working the 3-point line in basketball versus a 2-point line in Gaelic, and I think we'll see more of the same again next year from Cork and from other teams.
Clare, similar, Stefan, to Armagh, that they have been in successive finals and haven't got over the line. In terms of those defeats, though, from a Clare perspective, what way do you feel that could propel them to be even better in 2026?
I think they have to be encouraged by last year's final. I recall watching it. not sure where Armagh were, but we were definitely down the country somewhere, and they were in the contest for large parts. I think having reflected on their year and maybe done the post-mortem, you know, the management team that they've put in place this year are going to be going after maybe that 70-minute performance as opposed to, you know, the 50 minutes and then fading away. But it doesn't get any harder. But it's up to the leadership group in that team and that squad just to be driving that home and instilling that belief over the winter for them to compete come the summer.
There's still a bit to go now until April next year, John. But when do teams start to focus in on their opponents?
Yeah, we were just speaking about it before we came on air, and I think that you know, certainly from a Westmeath perspective, in the years gone by, you would have been looking at the likes of Dublin. You avoid them, and you're not on that side of the draw. It gives you that extra bit of motivation to you know, we have a chance here getting to the final. So I think in Munster, teams that have obviously avoided Kerry will get that extra little bit of motivation. Everyone's touched on Limerick and the experience that they've gained from the Tailteann Cup, and we also had that experience in Westmeath. And it did really bring us on another level. So you'd be hoping that Limerick can build on their performances this year and really put it up to Cork and actually go one step further and win that game, because if they can win that, they'll back themselves to get to a final. You'd have to feel sorry for the Clare lads, because, you know, the last team that they'd want to meet immediately would be Kerry. But if we look at Kerry last year, they actually played it cleverly and they played the long game, and they knew that they had to peak towards the end of the championship. So when all is said and done, that might be the time to get them too. So yeah, there might be a couple of nice games.
They played
there.
it cleverly, but if Cork had won that extra time, we would have having a different conversation here today. But I'm going to go down and talk to some Munster fans here, and just two of them from Munster, from Kerry, I think. So I'm only joking. Tell us your name or your club.
Pat, and I'm from Cordal.
Okay, so what did you make of the draw there?
Yeah, very good. I think Kerry will be happy with that, yeah. Probably, I suppose, you're looking at Kerry and Cork being on either side of the draw. Maybe we might see a Munster final in Killarney of Kerry and Cork, which obviously you grew up watching, going to those, so that would be great if we could see that, but we'll see how it plays out.
And how do you feel about Jack O'Connor staying on for another season?
I personally think it's hugely positive for Kerry football, yeah. I think it brings a great continuity to the setup that they have, and as was alluded to earlier, bringing in Kieran Donaghy, I think is another great asset to Kerry football. And look, sure, he's won in all his stints to date, and I don't expect that to change. I think he'll do a great job still, yeah.
So, be honest, when you were watching Kerry earlier on in the season, did you think that they would win an All-Ireland? Did you think that they would win a Munster title?
I definitely thought we'd win the Munster title as we were playing, but I was in Tullamore that day in the rain, and I definitely was quite concerned leaving there that, you know, but, you know, I suppose they played well against Cavan then, but then I was worried when they went 5 points down against Armagh in that second half. I didn't really see what was coming after that, but, you know, there you go.
So, in a word, back to back next year?
Yeah, we'll be very close. Yeah, we'll be thereabouts.
Okay, well, you've heard it here first then. Thank you, Pat, for chatting to us. Kerry for Sam in 2026. But that concludes then the Munster Championship draw. We're going to move ahead to Ulster, our final province. And to set the scene there for us, here's Mike Finnerty.
The Ulster Championship could win TV Drama of the Year every year, with some of the biggest stars, the biggest storylines and dramatic endings. The 2026 season could go right down to the wire again. Tyrone arrive with youth and pace and as the current All-Ireland minor and under-20 champions. And don't forget Malachy O'Rourke's side tore up the script a few times last year. Gabriel Bannigan has added a new cast member to his Monaghan backroom team, with the inclusion of Andy McEntee in the Farney fold as they push for their first provincial glory since 2015. Kieran Mina takes the lead role at Derry. Down look to go a scene further than last year, and Cavan, Antrim and Fermanagh look to engineer a plot twist. Armagh might have lost a few stars, but can this finally be the year that G stands for glory in Ulster after 3 final defeats in a row? And Jimmy's men haven't stopped winning matches in the province since his return, completing the sequel in Ulster last year. Can they carry momentum and belief as they chase a remarkable 3 in a row? The prize is the Anglo-Celt Cup, and the question is, where is it heading? The hills, the orchard, maybe into the palms of the red hands. In Ulster, everything is on the line, and the script will be no different in 2026.
A lehéid de craibh allú a bhí agin I fithe is a cuaig agus in éana glumsa níis an státe tá bútear cuaig allú Kieran Thompson. Kieran Fáilte, what we look back on some of the many highlights from the Ulster Championship. From Donegal's perspective, you have been involved in really tight games that have went to penalties and extra time. What was it like to get over the line in that extra time game this year?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like we put a huge emphasis on the Ulster Championship. It's a special championship to win, so to win back-to-back titles there, as you said, penalties the year before and then extra time this year, so it was definitely a sweet feeling.
Winning the Anglo-Celt, and you said there it's really special. Why is it special for you?
I suppose up north we look at the Ulster Championship as the most competitive championship. I think most teams in the Ulster Championship go in thinking they have a real shot of winning it. So it just makes every game really a titanic tussle, and you see that over the years, games going to extra time and penalties. So yeah, it just makes it extra special. Then they're so tight, and yeah.
Well, we wish you the very best luck in 2026, Kieran. In éana glynne Comai na Uachtarán Commonwealth Class Scale Allú Michael Gagan, and we've heard how special it is. Everyone from Ulster knows it is. But what did you make of the Ulster Championship this year?
It was a wonderful occasion, and for so many years in a row, it went to extra time. And as has already been alluded here by Kieran, it's the closeness and it's the belief within each county that on any given day a county in Ulster can beat the next county to them. So that belief transcends through the 9 counties, and it's what makes our championship so unique in that respect. It's also the passion of the fans and the belief that their county can do it. And the passion brings colour, intensity and colour, atmosphere no matter where they go. And to that's what makes our championship so special. It's just the fans and the people involved.
Yeah, well, we're going to do the draw now, and we're also welcoming Brian McAvoy, the Provincial Secretary, who's going to keep an eye on us as we do this draw to make sure that everything is correct. So, just to let you know, before we do the draw, counties involved in the preliminary round, the previous 2 seasons in 2024 and 25, they will get a bye to the quarter-finals. In this case, Cavan, Derry, Donegal and Monaghan are excluded from the 2026 preliminary round. So let's go to Bowl 1 then, and we have 5 teams involved at this stage, and they are Antrim, Armagh, Fermanagh, Down and Tyrone. So, Michael, can you give the Bowl there a final spin, and the team you'll draw out will play the team drawn by Kieran then in the preliminary quarter-final. So the first team out for us there are...
Home advantage, Ardwacha.
Ardwacha mar sin. Of course, Ardwacha got to the Ulster final this year. And Kieran, who will they be playing?
Tyrone.
Oh, Ardwacha agus Tyrone. So they lost by a point to Armagh in the Ulster semi-final in 2025. So what a brilliant game awaits us there to start off the Ulster Championship. So we'll ask Michael then to add the 4 more teams excluded from the preliminary round to the main bowl, and they are Cavan, Derry, Donegal and Monaghan. And Kieran, would you mind, and Kieran will give them a bowl stir as well, and just drawing the next county out then, that will play the winner of this preliminary quarter-final fixture in our preliminary quarter-final in the quarter-final D. So Armagh and Tyrone, whoever comes through there, they will play... Fermanagh an sin. So Declan Bonner, in his first season in charge as inter-county manager with Fermanagh, he will play and his team will play the winners of Armagh and Tyrone. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Michael, we'll get you to pull out then for quarter-final A. And the first county pulled out here is...
Dara.
Dara Marshin. So Kieran Meenan returns as Bannister for 2026. And who will they play, Kieran?
Antrim.
So Dara agus Antrim an sin in St. Cade, Cathru Canish A on sin. Antrim, Mark Dorn is one of 4 new managers that are involved in Ulster this year. So move on into the next quarter-final, Michael. Quarter-final B, and first out here is... Muinahan. So Muinahan, Gabriel Bannigan in his second year in charge, and Kieran, Muinahan will play...
Cavan.
Winahan agus an Chawan, local rivalry at stake there. So next up then, Michael, I'll get you to take out the team for quarter-final C. So the first team out from the pot for this one is... Dún Nanal. Agus Béise den I, Kieran.
Down.
Down. So Dún Nanal agus an Dún. So Cluiche den Sky ag Jacksu is fihe is a sé. And just to remind you, the winner of quarter-final A will play the quarter-final B in the semi-final, and the winner of quarter-final C will play the winner of quarter-final D in the other semi-final. And as per other provinces, fixtures, times and venues, they will be announced in the coming weeks by Ulster CCC. So Gurmila Moigi Ara as Shin. So let's get some reaction then from the lads. And Stefan, what did you make of that? Some very easy draws there, aren't there?
Yeah, now we could serious. Obviously, I have to look at the Armagh game there. What a start to the championship was going to be in the athletic grounds.
Yeah.
Look, in my experience, outside of Croke Park in a full house, it's the best atmosphere in the country. And for anyone that hasn't experienced it, I'd highly recommend getting a ticket for that one. But I'm interested to see how Monaghan also push on this year. They obviously took Donegal to the wire in both games last year. Gabriel Bonnigan seems to have got a serious bounce out of them. He seems like he has them all on a piece of string too. So, and then the other tie, they obviously Down and Donegal. Donegal is going to be favourites for that, but I recall Down give them a good tussle as well. So there's a lot of decent fixtures there, but I'm just glad I never pulled that ball out of the hat there. I might not get into the Armagh Club All-Stars tonight.
I don't think he could have went home to Armagh tonight, Stefan, if that had been the case. But John, like, we're looking at those draws. It's always so competitive, the Ulster Championship. We expect it to be the same in 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any game that's particularly easy out of any of those. As Stefan said, to start the championship that way, luckily enough, I got the experience playing in the athletic grounds, and what a group of passionate fans they are. They were coming into the ground at the same time as the team was, which doesn't happen too many places. The stadium was full as we were getting ready for our warm-up. So that's going to be an electrifying atmosphere there, and one certainly to go to. I think the likes of Derry and Monaghan and Cavan and Antrim on that side, I think they'll probably be a little bit relieved. It's a bit heavy loaded on the other side, which gives them an opportunity, but also has its own risks as well, because if you're coming into a semi-final, potentially not have gotten the great battle that Armagh or Tyrone might have had, you don't know really where you fit. So it's going to be an exciting championship.
Mark, let's talk about Donegal, because they are, of course, the current Ulster champions, and they ran Kerry Close in the All-Ireland final. Where do you see them improving, or what way do you expect them to improve and build on that success from this year in 2026?
Well, I think since Jim has come in, every year there's been progression. And, even you watch Young Footballer of the Year, Kieran Rorty, getting his award. And I think, what age is he? He's only 19. So, the development... The room for development there is massive, and they're taking on Down. I think John said it there. Down are a serious team. I watched them last year against Galway, and these guys, they have a serious team coming. So that's not going to be easy for Donegal. But I think that, just looking at the Ulster Championship last year, you look at Munster, Leinster, Connacht, and you can nearly predict, the favourites that's going to come out of there. With Ulster, all bets are off. Yeah. Any team on any given day can get over the line. And that's the beauty about the Ulster Championship. And I've been lucky enough to be at some of the games last year. And when you see the likes of Michael Murphy winning and hugging, I think it was his dad, and how much it meant to him, it just goes to show what this Ulster Championship is all about. But starting from the preliminary round with Tyrone and Armagh, there's never an inch given in any of these games. And it's cutthroat. And I just think that every single game there is going to be a massive game. But for Donegal, obviously they fell in the final hurdle. For Jim, it's about getting out of Ulster first of all. Obviously we see that they want to do it. I think this Donegal team will improve again this year.
So we're going to give you the worst job at total, Michael, because we talked about all the teams and how hard it is for any team to win Ulster. So people are talking about Armagh, they're talking about Tyrone, they're talking about Donegal. Give us your dark horse, Sue. And remember that I'm from Monaghan as well, so just be very careful.
Dark horse. Well, you know, you mentioned Armagh, Tyrone, Donegal and Down. They're all on the one side. So I think if there's a dark horse, it's on the other side of that draw. Monaghan and Cavan is going to be a cracker to start. That's a local rivalry there. And I suppose Derry, with Kieran back involved again, they might be looking just to refine some of that gold dust that they had a couple of years ago, and they certainly did have it. So you're going to have to go to that side of the draw for that. Maybe the dark horse. We'll give it to you. We'll give it to Monaghan. No, but they have been. They were very impressive. In fairness to them, they played out a cracking game in Croke Park, just coming up short. But I suppose the path to the final is just something that we shouldn't forget about either. For the prize of being in the provincial final, in terms of your league standing and Sam Maguire or Tailteann Cup, and that is going to be, you know, now teams can see a path, you know, to there, which, you know, it's part of their planning for the year that's ahead. So it's a great draw. Yeah. It is a great draw.
That is the beauty of the Ulster Championship. Every team feels that they can win it. But Sinead, buekas mór leis an lads. Thank you so much. Please give them a warm round of applause. Our pundits for this evening. Thanks to our officials and to our players for joining us today. Thanks for this brilliant live audience. Give yourselves a warm round of applause. Thanks to everybody watching both here in Ireland and abroad. We are all so excited for what 2026 can bring. Ó ahandan an seán mar sin go dtí an céadúir eile slán agus ihuai.